Sovereign choice. On this episode of the Soul Sovereignty and Sexuality Podcast, I'm going to talk about your sovereign choice, particularly because I've had the question posed from clients about how to navigate I'm just in the present moment with the larger desires and devotions and visions we have, which is really a question of how we navigate both the quote masculine and feminine energies. If we're just in the moment, right? Aren't we just supposed to be in the moment and follow whatever comes up and follow every desire and follow every impulse and just like let that be our guide? Or, right, do we maintain the higher consciousness of what some could call the divine masculine, which is I don't want to just follow each impulse or instinct or desire because I have a higher purpose, I have a higher vision. And how to navigate the mixing of the two. And an analogy I'd like you to envision is a river. So a river, on each side, there's a bank. There's, whether it be sand, grass, whatever that is, stone. It has a border on each side. And it is that border that allows a river to be a river. Because without the borders around the river, it's just a flood. It's just chaos. There's no structure keeping the water contained. So let's just imagine for a minute, to play with this analogy, that the borders, let's call it sand, is the masculine and the water is the feminine. So if you don't have the divine masculine surrounding and holding the feminine to create the possibility for the river to flow down that particular route or channel, then it's pure chaos. There's no direction. It just goes everywhere. The water just goes everywhere. It can go into a house. It can go into a car. It could flood anywhere, anything, and not have anything with which to direct it or to contain it. Personally, I don't desire to experience that level of chaos in my life because there is a beauty to order. There is a beauty to a boundary, which is our capacity. When I say masculine and feminine, I mean these energies within us, and we've just labeled it masculine and feminine. Just I'm using the term society has agreed upon. When we have a direction, which could be a goal you have for yourself, which could be an ultimate vision that you have for your life, something you want to achieve or do, then that is your guiding force that holds the riverbanks, that is the sand, that then when you're in the flow, you're in the moment, you don't lose sight of the riverbank. That's what's guiding the flow. So the vision, the direction in which you want to take yourself in your life is what is allowing you to flow and be in the moment with the consciousness of that bigger vision so that you don't just get lost and never go toward what you want to go toward. It provides the direction. So for example, a really simple example is if you are monogamous and you desire a monogamous relationship. I use this example in Ecstatic Soul Embodiment, which is an online program that really goes into detail about all of this. Then if you're just in the moment and you find somebody else attractive, well, where's your container? Where's your direction? The container of monogamy that you're devoted to, that you desire, that you've created, provides the boundaries for the being in the moment. So you don't just act on that. Oh, I find you attractive, so it's okay. I can forget about this relationship over here I'm devoted to. That wouldn't be an alignment, and that creates chaos because there's no direction for that flow. Or if you desire to speak your truth, and your ultimate guiding force, your direction is, I desire to speak my truth, to allow my insides to become visible to the outside world. Huge passion of mine, huge journey I've been on. Then if you don't keep that guiding force of I'm devoted to my truth, then there might be a present moment in which it feels like pulling teeth to speak your truth. So the present moment, it's not going to feel comfortable to stay in that direction. Might be easier to just, let's veer off over here. Let's forget that boundary's there. Let's just flood and just create some chaos. I don't want to go there. I want to turn back. I don't want to go here. It's just too hard. It's too uncomfortable. Or I'm willing to be uncomfortable in the present moment. I'm willing to do this and continue to go in the direction that these riverbanks are guiding me in, because I desire the outcome of where I'm going, which is pure devotion to myself, pure union with myself, and the fullest expression of who I am. Or a third example is, say that you're really devoted to your own radiant health and nourishing your body. But the habitual tendency is to overeat or to reach for a substance or to not work out, for example, to not move your body. So your riverbanks are your desire for health. And if you're just in the moment, just in the flow, with no riverbank to guide this flow of each present moment, oh, sure, I'll eat that ice cream with a bunch of chemicals and hormones in it. Oh, okay, well, I'll just lay on the couch and be lazy and not go for that walk my body's asking me to go on. Or sure, I'll just reach for that substance that I know is causing harm, right? Like that's chaos. And it's because you're just in the moment. I'm just in the flow, but there's nothing guiding your flow. There's nothing guiding your present moment choice. And so what is guiding you ultimately, if you want to be in sovereign choice, is your soul. And so the work is twofold. One, to spend the time, to create the time, to delve into what is your sovereign choice, what is your soul's truth, to discover that, to be with that, to play with that. Because that soul's truth is going to be in your body and heart and mind when they're aligned. Part of you wants this, part of you wants that, part of you wants that. That means you've got work to do, because you haven't aligned mind, body, soul and come into a true sovereign choice yet. So that's the work. That's the path. That's a huge part of what I do with my clients in one-on-one sessions, because often what happens is we're so habituated to the old self, to the patterned self, to the societal version of self that we've adopted, that we have to do the work of pulling out and realigning our thoughts and beliefs to what we connect to as our soul's truth, and release the fears and the shame and the doubt and all of that that keeps us from then acting on and staying directed toward, in the moment, the deep soul truth that we've uncovered and are devoted to. And so if you want to be in sovereign choice, you can't just be in the moment and expect to always know your choice if you're not connecting to your body on a regular basis. To be able to feel each sensation, which is showing you what your soul's truth is. to breathe into, I can feel that energy in my heart that is actually closing right now. So let me go into the closure and be with it. Or, I can see, right, that I want this thing with my head, but maybe it's not actually what I want. Maybe that quote desire is actually coming from ego, from what my parents want from me, from what I'm told to want. And as you spend time with your body, you notice the expansions, you notice the contractions, you notice, oh, okay, what part of me is this coming from? Is this my true self? Is this my deeper truth? Oh, maybe I have a lot of armor around that. Maybe I have a lot of fear around that I get to go into to create a clearer riverbank direction vision, so that when I'm in each moment, I'm already so connected to my body and my inner world and my own experience that I'm able to make a very conscious choice in each moment that feels really grounded and embodied and integrated, and not just be taken here and taken there and taken here and taken there. Because if you're just taken over here and taken over there and taken over here, one, there's no riverbank really guiding you, but two, where's your center? Personally, I have no desire to walk through this world without a center, because there's a lot that tries to pull you off. And if you're not in your center, in your core, in your body, in your soul, then where are you? Lost in what everybody else wants, what everybody else thinks, everybody else's opinion. That's not a sovereign place to be. It's not an empowered place to be. It's like, depending on what age bracket you're in, I used to always play the game with the lemmings. And all the lemmings would literally, one lemming would start to walk toward the cliff, and then all the lemmings would walk off the cliff together. It's so ridiculous. Like, all they had to do was turn around and say, you're walking off the cliff, you're going to die. I'm going to go in the other direction. But they didn't have their own center. They just followed everybody else. Did what everybody else wanted. And then they all just fell off the cliff together. Sound familiar? So the reason I say this is because when we're not creating that time and space with the body to deepen into your soul's truth, in your center, to be in the moment with your sensations and experience and truth, which is your anchor, which creates the border of your riverbank, then what usually results is, I'm choosing this, but the choice is actually ego gratification, temporary gratification, and not necessarily a soul-driven choice. Oh, I'll just do what's easy. I'll just do what's comfortable. I'll just do what's my old pattern. I'll just, this thing makes me feel good, so I reach for it. Oh, that person makes me feel good, so I'm with them. And I'm not saying this with judgment. I'm saying this with fierce love of, it just means you're staying in the old pattern, allowing your ego to be gratified instead of choosing you, your soul, your truth. What is in your highest and best interest? Because what is in your highest and best interest is always in the highest and best interest of everyone else. So this sovereign choice requires that you have boundaries and that you hold yourself accountable to your bigger vision, to your bigger desire, to your true self. In every single moment, I am aligning to my true self, my divine self, my soul self, not to what might be easy. Because the path to sovereignty is not necessarily an easy one for the ego. It is blissful. It is ecstatic. It is liberation like you've never even imagined. But it's not easy for the ego because it means there are always riverbanks directing the flow of your inner river, of your inner knowing, of your life force. Always have that consciousness with it. You don't lose that consciousness, because when you lose that consciousness, you lose yourself. And then you're not in your power, because your power comes from you being anchored into your true self. In each and every moment. It is a practice. It is a journey. It never ends. And the results are incredible. So begin to practice this. Sit with a deep desire, devotion, vision that you have, direction that you are devoted to. And then in each moment, what am I choosing? What's comfortable? What's ego gratification? What's easy? What everyone else wants? Am I a flood? Am I in chaos here? Am I letting just this be the only thing that I even see, which is really blindness? Or I am aware that I am the river, and yet I am the banks, and yet I am the water, and I am also the one that sees all of it. And I allow the riverbanks, the consciousness of my I am presence, my soul, my divine presence to guide me and my flow of each choice in each moment, so that you do actually become who you are truly meant to be. You come home to you, to your soul sovereign self. And if you have no idea how to get there, I recommend either Ecstatic Soul Embodiment, my 6-week online self-study program. It's normally $444. It's only $333. You can begin at any time, or schedule a free 30-minute session with me, a sovereignty breakthrough session, to look at what it would be like to work together to help align you to your soul truth, so that you reclaim your divine power and sovereignty in every single aspect of your life, to experience true freedom. Jessica Falcon, The Path to Sovereignty, sending you so much love on this amazing, beautiful journey.